Greetings everyone, Pastor Mike here with episode 8 of the OPC cooking show. I hope you enjoyed Sam's video last week. I thought it was fantastic and I learned a lot and he's very entertaining, so thank you, Sam. You're welcome anytime on this cooking show. I hope you'll consider joining us again. Friends, it's been a year, so we need to treat ourselves. If I'm going to treat myself to something sweet, my eyes went right to my favorite theme of dessert, which is Cobbler. Maybe it's the southern boy in me, who knows. I happen to pick one from someone not from the South, but it looks really delicious. There's actually 2 blueberry cobblers in the OPC cookbook. One's by Cindy Alexander and one's by Donna Poseidon. Cindy, yours looks great, and we'll definitely get to one of your recipes at some point because you've got some great stuff in here. But I'm gonna go with Donna's this week because it has basil crust, which looks pretty interesting. So we're gonna give Donna Poseidon's blueberry cobbler with basil crust a try. This recipe has 2 different sets of ingredients. We're making a blueberry mixture and then the topping. So for the blueberry mixture, we've got some brown sugar, we have cornstarch and salt, 6 cups of fresh blueberries. Those are gonna be amazing. We got 1 lemon, a bunch of basil, which is chiffonaded, which is where you kind of roll it and slice it, I'm pretty sure is how we do that. So I got our basil ready to go. Butter for the pan. When it comes to our topping, we have self-rising flour, which I didn't have on hand, so I found out you can make a version of self-rising flour. Essentially, you just add some salt and baking powder. There's some recipes online to find that, but essentially that's what I've done there. We've also got lemon zest, so we'll use our lemon again, some sugar over here, and heavy cream, heavy whipping cream, and coarse raw or Demerara sugar. Obviously I pronounced it wrong, so I haven't bought Demerara sugar before, so we may just use some dark brown sugar. We couldn't find that exact thing at the store the other day, so we'll improvise. So first our brown sugar, then our cornstarch, and our salt. I'm going to stir these together. Next, we're going to add our blueberries. We're going to add 1/4 cup of our chiffonaded basil. We got 2 teaspoons of lemon zest. I'm just going to go on a limb here, and I'm going to zest all of this 1 lemon, and we'll hope that's enough. After zesting our lemon, we have 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. So I've squeezed that lemon. We're going to pour that in there. Okay, that's it. So now we're going to fold this to combine and add this to our buttered 2-quart baking dish. Here we are, our 2-quart baking dish filled with all that blueberry goodness and basil goodness, and we're going to put it in the oven for 25 minutes, uncovered until bubbly. While we wait on those blueberries to get a bubbling, we're going to work on our topping. So to start, we're going to toss flour, sugar, lemon zest, and basil to combine. So in goes our homemade self-rising flour. We've got 1/2 cup of sugar. And I'm going to have to make some more lemon zest. Life gives you lemons. And lastly, our basil. We got about another 1/4 cup left of the chiffonaded basil, so we're going to put it on in there. So here's the tricky part. We're going to stir in just enough cream to make a soft dough. So we got 3/4 cup here. It says maybe more. So we're going to start with that and stir this and see how we get. I've got to wait for the blueberries to finish before I put this on it, so we'll circle back when they're ready. Just look at these bubbling blueberries. They're ready to go. Now we're going to add our dough in a thin layer on top of the blueberries. Dollops, then spread is what we're told, and sprinkle the coarse sugar on top. So first thing is this dough. Let's see how this goes. After some dolloping and spreading, this is our dough nicely across the top. So now let's sprinkle some sugar. Again, Donna, sorry for being unorthodox here. We're going to use brown sugar. Gonna sprinkle this on top. It's a little clumpy, but why not? Sugar is sugar, right? Like I said, friends, we are here to treat ourselves in 2020. So now that I got that sugar, we're going to put it back in the oven, cook about 20 minutes to see how it's doing, checking at 15 minutes to turn the pan as needed. Okay, everyone, we are done. It looks tasty, but not super pretty. Here's our final product. I may have had my dough a little thick. It was having trouble getting solid in the middle. I kept having to check it and spread it around some so it wouldn't get too burned on top. So avoiding it being too doughy is a little tricky, but I think it's hard to mess up cobbler too bad. It still smells and looks good. So I'm gonna give it a taste and call Donna and we'll see how we did. Hi Donna, how are you?
Hey Mike, I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm great now that I have my cobbler, and now I did. It wasn't the recipe, but I'm assuming it's assumed that when you have cobbler, you got to do it with some vanilla ice cream. So,
Absolutely. Oh,
absolutely. So
yeah.
there's my bowl of cobbler with my ice cream, and I think it turned out pretty good. I was a little worried it got would have gotten overcooked when I was waiting for it to harden, but I think it turned out okay. So you saw the video. What are your thoughts?
Wish I could get a spoon and have some myself.
I'll put it to the camera.
Yeah, the blueberries made me really long for summer and just farmers markets and that sort of
Right?
thing. So yeah, it looked really good. Tell me how it tastes.
It's good. Yep, I think it's good. I guess blueberries are probably hard to overcook. Maybe that's part of the saving grace. So,
I think
um,
I think that's true. They're pretty
yeah.
forgiving.
And the basil's so interesting. I don't think I've used basil in sweets a whole lot. So that was a, but it yeah, but you can definitely taste it, and it's good.
Yeah, that was what was intriguing to me. That this recipe is actually relatively new. A lot of the recipes that I submitted are kind of family recipes or things that I've made many times, but this is one that I found at a cooking class I went to when I first moved here to the Atlanta area about 10 years ago. Some girlfriends and I decided to check out a cooking class that was at the Cook's Warehouse, which at the time
Oh
was
yeah.
right up the street from me, and it was Southern cooking. I'm up from up north, and I'd never done this myself, but this was one of the recipes that we had with our meal, and she put basil in it, and I said, "Why?" And I'd never chiffonaded either, so learned how to chiffonade. But I thought that the combination of the basil, which is such a summery uh, spice or herb, along with the blueberries, was really intriguing and love it. So I've since shared it with my family, who are blueberry fans up north, and they've really enjoyed it too. So glad you like it. Glad you tried it.
Oh yeah, yeah. And it's probably an odd recipe to be doing in November near the holidays, but like I mentioned, I yeah, maybe it's grown up in the South, but cobbler, I'm just a sucker for it. So it's nice. Get a little taste of the summer this
Well,
time of
it's warm and just it's a nice comfort food no matter what the time of year is. So
year.
good
Yes,
choice.
absolutely. Have you made it for a pot one of the church potlucks or events before, or was
I've
this?
not made it for potlucks at church. I've made it in the old days when I would have a group of people over, you
Right.
know. So someday that may happen again. But I think I told you when you said you were going to make it that you do have to have it with friends because you'll end up with blue teeth. That is one of the things with blueberries. So
Not there yet. I think I need some more.
okay, you need a few more bites.
That's
Yeah, that is one of the risks of this, but
yeah, that's
yeah,
true.
it's fun.
So you mentioned I know you were in there a lot in the cookbook, and I wanted a sweet, so I went for this instead of checking beforehand. But do you have some other recipes that you submitted that are some of your favorites that are perhaps connected to your family or where you grew up?
Well, there's a recipe that's again just pure comfort food that my mom made when the family all gathered. It's probably something that others have in their family books too. It's you know oyster crackers with a salad dressing, and we ate it when we were kids, and then the grandkids enjoyed it. So it's been passed down now 3 generations. Totally unhealthy, no redeeming quality other than just lovely memories of the
Well,
family.
I mean, that sounds like that's a good potluck food too, right? I mean,
Definitely, definitely. Then I think I put in there a Pennsylvania Dutch recipe that my dad liked to make. cucumbers with vinegar and a little sugar, so it's like a sweet and sour combination. My recollection is the quantities are a little bit kind of left to the cook. It's one of those that, a little of this and a little of that, and you never really, the measures aren't quite right, but there's lots of room for error. So that's in there. So we got the salty, we got the sweet and sour, we have the yummy dessert. There's a Greek recipe in there, and that I brought to most of the potlucks. It's one that I discovered, when I was into Greek cuisine, and easy and everybody likes it, and it's vegetarian, and so it's
Perfect.
does well. There's some others, but those are maybe the ones that evoke the most memories and have a story along with them.
That's great. Well,
Yeah.
thanks, Donna. Well, anything else to share about this dish or anything else?
Just, I hope you really enjoy it. And now I'm going to make it again because I hadn't had, I can figure out a way to find some neighbors that would enjoy it. So.
Totally. Absolutely. Yes. It's definitely worthwhile. So, well, I appreciate you letting me join and trying it out and tasting it. And yeah, we're going to enjoy eating it pretty quickly probably. So thank you, Donna.
I'm glad you made it. Thank you.
Absolutely. We'll be seeing you soon.
So long.
Bye.
Thank you for joining me for this week's episode. My prayers will be with all of you going into this holiday week. May it be safe and may it be fun. This coming Sunday will be Reign of Christ Sunday. It's the last Sunday that we will be streaming from our homes as worship leaders. Starting November 29th, the first Sunday in Advent, we will be streaming from the sanctuary, all decked out for Advent and Christmas. It should be wonderful and a great way to celebrate this season together. Look out in the e-news this week for an update on COVID and where we are as a church, as well as a link to donate or to submit your pledge card for 2021 to help us plan for the upcoming year, and many other things going on as we enter this season together. I'm going to close this time, as I always do, with a blessing of meals. This one's a little different, it's a little fun, and I thought it could be a nice way to change it up a bit. This is a prayer attributed to a 17th century monk known as Brother Lawrence, and it's for the one who is preparing the meal, the one who is cleaning the meal, and as with many monks, it's a way to make these practices meditative and prayerful in the ordinary things that we do. So this is often called the prayer of the pots and pans and things. So hear this blessing for us to close our time together. Lord of all pots and pans and things, since I've no time to be a great saint by doing lovely things, or watching late with thee, or dreaming in the dawn light, or storming heaven's gates, make me a saint by getting meals and washing up the plates. Warm all the kitchen with thy love and light it with thy peace. Forgive me my worrying and make my grumbling cease. Thou who did love to give all food, in room or by the sea, accept the service that I do it unto thee. Amen.